My guest today is ex-UP DGP, Mr. Vikram Singh. He is also an educationist and a guy who speaks his mind. Good evening and welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good evening.
We have an extremely tragic situation in Bengaluru Chinnaswamy Stadium. The entire event was, you can say it was not organized at all. The entire event came as a shock where there was no police deployment seen on the streets. If at all there were any, then it was inside the stadium. So prima facie, what do you think, what went wrong?
This was an unmitigated disaster with multiple fault lines. This was an avoidable tragedy, and in fact, everybody contributed to this disaster. And now the blame game, is it the BCCI? Is it the DNA? Is it the government? Is it the police, or all of them? I would say everybody seems to be some kind of a responsibility, and nobody can wash their hands of the case. To begin with, let us do a bit of reverse engineering. They said that the capacity of the Chennappa Stadium was just 35,000 and 3 to 4 lakhs people emerged. What did you expect? There should be some kind of a curfew. There should be facilitation. There should be no crowd. This is some kind of a religion, and people were in state of great exalted enthusiasm. Therefore, this was something that was totally on expected lines. The Bengaluru police is supposed to be the most high-tech in the country. I had expected the drone and the AI-enabled CCTV footages to help the digital and the smart control room to assess the exact movement and the density of the crowds converging on the Chennappa Stadium. Nothing like this happened. I'm given to understand the police also gave a better that the celebrations happen on Sunday, but this was disallowed by the government. Under such situations, there is a liaison meeting with the organizers who, in this case, have deep pockets, and they're supposed to pay for the additional deployment of the police force. No such meeting was held. No money was deposited in the government treasury for the deployment of the force. 1,300 policemen, whereas the police requirements was to the tune of something around 5,000. Where would the reinforcements come in a short time? I'm also told that the police said they were fatigued after such major bandobast. I fail to understand that the two statements that are very revolutionary, which I've never heard in my life. The government says, we are not responsible. If the government is not responsible, you'll excuse me, then who else is responsible? The police say that we are tired and fatigued. The police or any uniformed service or paramilitary or the army can never be fatigued, whatever be the consequences. Even if one has a bullet in the abdomen, one never says that I'm tired or fatigued. You jolly well take the position and stand till your last breath. Get reinforcement, get every district in the country, including Bengaluru, has what is known as the internal security scheme, that is known as Antarik Suraksha Yojana, that is rehearsed every month for what? The NDRF circulars say that there's a specific SOP under such circumstances. Every constable, right up to the constable, up to the police commissioner, knows what he has to do, what is his position, where are the first aid center, the hospital, the fire station, and the green access, the CPR trainers, where they will be positioned. And if there's a flaw in the rehearsal, that is re-rehearsed and re-rehearsed. You would understand that there's a backup for a backup for a backup, so that you don't allow grass to grow underneath your feet. You really have to try very hard to bungle up like this. I repeat, Bengaluru police is very professional, but no liaison meeting, no payment made for the additional police force. I feel that there were some illegitimate orders from the powers that be. I'll repeat, illegitimate, illegal orders that the police had no option but to comply with, and the rest is history.
So I'm sorry to cut you. I have a question here. You called about that illegitimate order. Obviously, orders on phone and all, and the police team is expected to comply to the politicians, to the people in power. What do you think were the options left for Bengaluru police? If at all there were orders, and I am being told that there were free passes, like there was no entry check for the inside the stadium, like it was free for all. So the moment you announce that the stadium is open, please come, and you want more and more crowd there, you have absolutely no pass, no identity check, nothing. There is no queue. Everybody just walking in. That was like recipe for it. They were asking for trouble, and it happened. My question to you is, if a police officer on duty, say for example the superintendent of police of that particular area, I don't know who was or the ACP or the DCP, you probably would know better. My question is, what should a cop do when they get such calls?
These things happen by the dozen every day. You put up your point. If the political bosses disagree with you and give an order that is legitimate, semi-legitimate, or blatantly illegal, you make the most of a grim situation. You make the most of the grim situation. Now, okay, we'll try and do whatever we can. We'll pull up our socks, but get us 4,000 men extra and also some funds to cater to the contingencies and also to feed them 24 by 7. You cannot have a army marches on its stomach. They have to be fed in the night. They have to be fed in for the breakfast, and they all have to be catered and fed and well fed at that. So extra budget, extra manpower, and this would have been paid by the BCCI and also by the DNA people who have deep pockets and have thousands of crores in the kitty. It wasn't a cash crunch at all. But in a grim situation, you ask for the resources, rehearse your drill, and come out even better and put your best foot forward and not get caught on the wrong foot. But to your question, the other part, that there were too many. You have one sad sack, he's enough to ruin the party. And you have multiple sad sacks trying to issue duplicate passes. One pass, get one, and make 6 entries free. Then there was no identity check. The entry was open from 7 a.m. The function was to begin at 5 in the evening. And lo and behold, loudspeaker announcements were first come, first serve. And then that were all hell was let loose when you said first come, first serve. There was a beeline and a gate crash for the Chinnappa Stadium gates. And in fact, the unfortunate stampede happened only then. I would not like to see the nightmarish experience of the children, the men and women, and the infant who was just absolutely shut across the barrier and the iron barricade, and he was almost being crushed to death in front of all of us. Look at the innocence and the panic in the eyes of the child and the girl the rib cage was absolutely broken. The eyes were coming out. I mean, this was a tragedy that could have been avoided totally, but a total mismatch, issue of cards and playing to the gallery, trying to garner as much as popularity. Was this a popularity contest?
Look
And
like
what you thought
everybody
was a
wanted
popularity?
that selfie. Like everybody, even there was a video that we saw where a cop is seen being like lifted on shoulders, and they all are dancing and then their hands going up. So there are visuals, shocking visuals. Basically, a person who is supposed to do a duty, one, he was outnumbered. There were like more than 300-400 people in that video, and the cop was being lifted on the shoulders, and they were having a victory party or something, whatever you call it.
For everything, there's a time, and to everything, there's a season. Once a person is in uniform and on duty, he sees nothing except what are his priorities are. And to that extent, I feel it was a frivolous and an illegitimate activity, best avoided. But let us, in this topic, see that there are important lessons to be drawn. It doesn't serve my purpose. Say that in the Kumbh also stampede happened. It doesn't serve my purpose. To draw our lessons and see, fix responsibility. And the responsibility goes right up to the Bengaluru police, the officers there on duty, as also the government cannot wash its hands of the case. And they said, the police advised us, if the police advised us, what action did you take? We were not aware of what had happened. Then what kind of a government are you if not aware that the tragedy has happened? What kind of an information system do you have? What intelligence department do you have? And it doesn't absolve you, doesn't help your purpose. It says either you are absolutely incompetent and unworthy of the high office that you are holding, because such a thing happening right underneath your nose and you are oblivious of that, it doesn't speak very highly of your administration. Then to say also that the police is responsible, then the DNA is responsible, but nobody is owning up. But for the timely intervention, suo moto intervention of the Karnataka High Court, I don't even think the case would be been registered, and FIR would also not have been registered by now. And to say that we ordered a magisterial inquiry, you have done no favor to anyone. When I say you, I mean the government, because it is mandatory under such circumstances to order a magisterial inquiry. But like all inquiry commissions, my only hunch is that you will make a lot of noise and drop the matter there till another crisis emerges and people forget about this crisis.
You think this was a case, like two points. I would just like your final word on these two. One is like, are we a country now we don't learn lessons? One, and number two, will this qualify again as a criminal negligence?
To your second question, it is a criminal negligence of the worst kind, and a thick skin, I would not say is a gift of God, but you really have to admire the kind of thick skin, the patchy dumps that we are all around here, that nothing shocks and surprises us any longer. One. And the two, that as a nation and as a society, we seem to be oblivious and nothing shocks and surprises us any longer. Tragedy after tragedy, catastrophe after catastrophe, and we don't seem to be waking up from the slumber. Are we some permanent kind of a Rip Van Winkle, that we are in a permanent slumber. We will never wake up ever. Well, I hope I'm wrong. And I do hope there are important lessons to be drawn, sumptuous takeaways for the security forces, so that these mistakes and horrible blunders are not replicated ever.
Right. Mr. Singh, while I have a lot of questions to ask today. Questions like, are our security forces equipped and trained for crowd management? What kind of training? But probably I will keep that for our next interview, sir. And thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us at a very short notice.